What pisses y'all off about Americans?
Everything. I don't like Americans, I'm sorry.
Some mannerisms.
The craziest thing is no one hates Americans more than Canadians. Why do y'all hate your neighbors so much?
They're rude.
Yeah, I feel like rudeness.
It's wild to me because I feel like Canadians act very similar to Americans, no?
No, we're nice people.
You're nicer than Americans.
Yeah. Personally, the politics, they're a whack country that way.
Damn. So you couldn't live in the U.S.?
I would not want to.
If I lived in the U.S., it'd be like East Coast, New York.
Maryland?
Maybe. Just
Is that
not
where you're from?
No, I'm British.
Yeah, you're British. Not the That's the one thing, not the South.
Why not the South?
We're Republicans.
Hello and greetings once again, guys, and welcome back to the Real American Reactions. If it is for the first time you are checking me out, kindly subscribe, like and share to my YouTube channel. And to my returning subscribers, I do want to say thank you very much for the love and support you are always giving unto me. Whereby today, guys, our video focuses on why the Europeans and Canadians do not like Americans. So it's like the Americans have been into these countries, the European countries and Canada, and it seems like the Canadians and the Europeans does not even care about the Americans, and they don't love Americans merely because they claim their habits, their behavior, you know. Yeah, so guys, I want you to watch this entire video to the end, and I'll be back with a few comments.
What pisses you off about Americans?
Everything.
What's
I
coming?
hate them.
Are you taking a piss?
No, they're so loud. They talk to you, and I don't talk to me.
So being loud is equated to being rude in Sweden or what? I'm trying to understand this.
No, in Sweden we just like don't talk to each other.
Okay.
Like if you're on a bus, you don't talk to the person next to you. In the U.S., everybody talks to each other, and I don't like that. Leave me alone.
Unnecessary small talk.
Yeah. Really. I don't like
What? Is that the main reason?
Probably yes. I don't like the people. Sorry.
They have decided that Americans are the only ones who might not realize that they're foreigners.
This cracks me up because it's so true. Americans really will not realize that they are considered foreigners and that they don't get special treatment. And I think it just has to do with a lot of things. But things that I have found funny that Americans have said to me is, why can't they just use American dollars when they come to Europe? Because it's good enough for cruises when they go to like South America and Mexico. Why is it not good enough for Europeans? Another question is why don't other countries have fireworks on the 4th of July? Shouldn't everybody have fireworks on the 4th of July? Not, I guess, understanding that the 4th of July is an American holiday, and of course other countries aren't going to celebrate that. Why would they celebrate an American Independence Day? So yeah, Americans are just special.
What is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
So my ethnicity is native Russian. It's called Yakut. We live in the far east of Russia. And our physical traits, as you can see, are Asian. I study in the States and this guy asks me, oh, where are you from? And I say, I'm from Russia. And he's like, no, I mean like, where are you from? And I'm like, I'm from Russia, motherfucker. And he's like, okay, then where are your parents from? And I say, imagine, they're from Russia too. And he's like, well, I thought that you were Asian. Fuck a motherfucker for your MAGA. I am Asian. I don't know how your brain works, but you think if I'm from Russia, I cannot be Asian when I'm clearly am Asian and vice versa? If you studied your geography a little bit, you will know that half of Russia, the biggest country in the world, it's really hard to miss it on the map, is in Asia. You really think that Habib Nurmagomedov's ethnicity is Russian? No, he's Dagestani, which is one of the 100 native Russian ethnicities. So yeah, I'm an Asian with Russian passport, bitch. And I got no ancestors immigrated. Don't mix your history with my history.
Up in the comment section of my TikToks are all incredibly stupid. So here are a few things that I think I need to tell you. Number one, your hero worship of your president or of any politician, full stop, is weird and insane. Politicians are public servants and they are policymakers. They are not and should not be deified. They are not gods. They are not celebrities. They are politicians. And there is a difference. And your blind hero worship of your president is weird and mad. The second thing is, yes, people in the rest of the world know about and care about American politics and what America is doing. And yeah, we actually have every right to do that. Take this current instance in Venezuela, for example. It's going to massively increase the global oil price because of shortages linked to bad supply in Venezuela. And that's something that everyone globally is impacted by and has a right to care about. And the third thing is that, yeah, I actually think a lot of foreigners know more about your politics than you do and can critically analyze it better because a lot of you are far too invested and like propagandized to actually critically assess anything. Sorry about it.
I made a video the other day and I was like, why do American people not have passports? Why don't you guys have passports? And these are the comments that I got reenacted. America's the greatest nation on earth. Why would I need a passport? I don't want to go anywhere else. I can get a baguette from Kroger. The next reactions were like this. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I got 5 kids. 5 of them can't read. So I got to do their homework for. The next reaction. I have a passport. I don't plan on going anywhere, but it's good to have one. Yeah. The next reaction. Why do you care? Huh? You don't know my life. Even though I just said in the comment section that my boyfriend cheated on me 5 days ago. The next reaction. You dirty little nothing. Do you think I got $200 to get a passport for? I've never left my state. I don't even know what state I'm in. What's the capital of Minnesota? Everybody relax. But you still ain't got your passport. Go get one. Go to the post office. Get a passport.
President Trump said...
What now? What did he say?
President Trump said the United States invented everything.
I can't. He's so egotistical. He's so unhinged.
Oh my God, my stomach hurts.
Tell me I'm not the only one that feels like this, but as soon as I cross the border and enter America, something clicks and I just don't feel safe anymore. It's like a filter of violence just like passes my eyes. Also, being in America feels too real. Like it feels like damn, this is what the movies are about. We're really in some real shit right now. Once you enter America, it's like you're not watching from the sidelines anymore. You're in the bullshit. Like, I get why they have guns. I don't feel safe right now. What the fuck? Canada's like the minor leagues. You know, it's chill, but you know what I'm saying? It's like the same, but it's like a little different. America's the major leagues. This is where shit goes down. You know what I'm saying? America just feels too name brand. Like, it's like Canada's vaping, America's smoking cigarettes.
If you ever want to stop idolizing the rich, just work serving industry in the upper class or fine dining space for 3 months. I worked at Atlantic Grill at 76 and Lex on the Upper East Side in New York City. I was talking to another 25, 26-year-old couple, and they were talking about, oh, they just went apartment hunt. And I was like, oh, I live in Harlem, 147th and Broadway. I think it's a great area. It's like a really, up and coming. And they just laughed at me and they were like, oh, we only are looking at doorman apartments and only apartments where the elevator opens up into our apartment. Like the amount of times I just showed my full ass. Another time this guy runs into the restaurant and he blows past the hostess and the hostess is like, oh, sorry, you have a reservation? He just shouts, Google me at her. And he sits down at this nice table at Atlantic Grill. It's, I think the table 36, I think we called it. And he throws $200 bills at this busser and makes the busser sit next to him. And he orders 5 pounds of stone crab and makes the busser sit next to him and crack the crabs for him like a fucking toddler. And we looked him up and he was worth $4 billion, but his wife was divorcing him and getting $2 billion. And so it's like, girl, that's the first thing that you Google, honey. It's a little embarrassing for you. Another time, this 80-year-old man, he was 6'3", 6'4". He had a stroke and he was dying in my arms. And I dragged him over to a fucking a baby carriage and laid him in the baby carriage because no one would help me. And my table looked at me seeing this dying man in my arms. And they were like, can we order? Can we order when you get a second? Right after Hurricane Sandy, I remember this woman came in, it's literally, it's the morning after Hurricane Sandy. I walked from 147th and Broadway. I walked to 76th and Lex to work because I needed the money. And we only had burgers and salmon and maybe a couple other items, but we did not have the Branzino. And this woman had the biggest fucking meltdown. She said, well, what kind of establishment is this? Lindsay Lohan, Dream, tipped over 30%, Angel. Ramona Singer, I hope you burn. Never put wealthy people on a pedestal. Not only are they usually fucking stupid, but they're rude, they have no soul, and they don't care about you. And they just can't function as human beings and have insane, mentally ill eating habits. I don't know, be our guest hive, like rise up, tell me your craziest be our guest story because I need to hear it.
What's your first impression when you meet an American?
Oh shit, my girlfriend's American, but usually they're all dumb.
No way.
They're an insular folk.
Oh, what?
They don't seem to know that the rest of the world exists most of the time.
Exactly, they have no idea what's going on in the rest of the world.
Did this experience come from Americans you see on social media? Most Americans you meet, are they actually like this or no?
Yes.
Really?
My girlfriend's American, and she says to like her family, they have no idea what Europe is.
No way.
Europe is the capital of Amsterdam, am I right?
Give me a general knowledge quiz.
What's the capital of Belarus?
Belarus? That's crazy, bro. I don't know Belarus, man.
It's Minsk, man. It's
Minsk.
fucking Minsk.
I'm not doing too hot.
I just saw this message from Canada to Americans, and I am not okay. I'm gonna add it right here.
Sorry, I don't speak French. I'm just visiting.
Well, then welcome to Canada's Eastern Townships. Where are you visiting from?
I'm American.
Ah, okay.
Amazing news, everyone. We are the richest country in the history of the world. Yeah, so we've heard. Can we have healthcare? No. That would never work. Can we have affordable housing? Why would we do that when there's private equity? What about public transportation? Well, think of the auto industry. Come on. Can we have childcare and parental leave? No, we're gonna need you to get back to work. Did we take care of our planet? Stop. Don't let the guys from Big Oil hear, okay? You'll hurt their feelings. Can we raise the minimum wage? You already get $7 an hour. They'll be so greedy. Can we make college accessible? Well, then how would we even keep you in debt? Thing. Sorry, so what can we have? War. We can always afford war. It's kind of our thing.
So my parents and my sister went to Europe for about 3 weeks over the holidays, and they went to Barcelona, Portugal, Rome, Catania, and then in Sicily, where my grandfather's from. He's from this little town called Campobello, and so they went there, and they also went with my sister's fiance's mother and her boyfriend, who are from Colombia. And they, of course, you know, in Colombia, they're like, what the hell is going on over there in the U.S.? But when they were traveling in Europe, you know, you obviously spark conversations with people. And when they were asking my parents, you know, where are you from? You know, they say the U.S., and people are just like, oh, like, what the hell is going on there? What's up with your president? And I was like, did anybody say anything positive? I mean, there's got to be some people out there. Like, no one that we interacted with. In fact, well, I know like my whole family, they're in Sicily. They're always like messaging my mom on WhatsApp, like, what's going on? Are you okay? But then they were in the little town that my family lives in, and this old man had come up, and he was barely could speak any English, but he had asked where they were from, and he was just like, Trump, like the way he said it. And my parents were like, no, we don't like him. And the guy was like, you could tell he was relieved, but he was just like, oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's the sentiment there in Europe. Obviously, I know couldn't ask everybody, but that was the main sentiment from a majority of the people that they talked to, which we know. I mean, I already freaking knew, but it was just interesting to hear. I know that there is one country that definitely loves our president, though. Actually, my friend used to date someone that lived in Israel, and when he came here in 2020, he couldn't go back home until he had the Make America Great Again red hat. And I was just like, what is the obsession? It's fucking weird. But yeah, and then she ended up moving there for him, and they're not even together. But yeah, so that's what's going on over there.
I could never give up 50% of my paycheck in taxes like you do in Germany. It's not 50%, it's closer to 31%, and that covers what would be monthly expenses in the United States. I only pay 10% in the United States, but what do you mean it covers monthly expenses? Well, for example, included in that number is the $500 we pay a month for a family of 5 in health insurance. What do you pay? For the 5 of us, we pay about $550 a month, but with co-pays, deductibles, prescriptions, and out-of-pocket expenses, it's closer to $1,200 a month. We also get back money every month. We get $800 just for the 3 kids. We have that too, but it is only about $500 a month for the 3 kids this year. But you need that in Germany. Living expenses are high. Actually, the cost of living in Germany is 20 to 35% lower than in the USA. Even with VAT tax and the cost of gas, housing, transportation, and groceries are all cheaper here. Gas is outrageous. I could not handle paying $9 a gallon. But we don't drive. We have a $60 a month ticket that covers unlimited travel in Germany. How much are you spending on your car every month? $1,000, and we have 2. See? And housing and groceries are also lower here. Plus, I don't have to worry about student loans. My student loans are only like $500 a month. For 20 years. Well, yeah. Oh, and daycare here. Full time for the 2 little ones is $250 a month. No way. I pay over $1,400 a month. But wait, we're off track. You said this stuff was covered by your taxes. Well, my taxes contribute to keeping all of these expenses lower, like subsidized childcare, available public transportation, and tuition-free university. But you're paying taxes for things that you might not even use. Still, I get way more back for my taxes than I ever did in the US. Look, I get how it can look like I'm paying more for these things, but in reality, I think you're paying more, and to private corporations who don't benefit everyone. Did you know that German high school students learn about US propaganda in their English courses in high school? Recently, a follower asked to send me a textbook that they use in German 11th to 13th grade English courses to study US propaganda. So like in the United States where we study German World War II propaganda, in Germany, they're studying current US propaganda. They cover everything from US exceptionalism to the American dream, and they show German students how US citizens have been led to have a lack of self-critical awareness to how their ideals have failed. I didn't want to believe it at first, but if you Google the name of the textbook and the word Abitur, which is the final stage of German high school, it returns all kinds of study guides and notes. And what really shook me is that on one of these study guides, it says, the US has become a wasteful consumer society of lonely individuals. So if you've ever wondered how some people outside of the US view the US,
Me thinking a 3-hour drive is far too long to travel in the UK. Then realizing Americans literally do that to commute to work every day.
In Europe, nobody understands what is going on in America. So we don't understand what Trump does. No, we think it's totally ridiculous.
It's a bit strange.
In our eyes, as we see it, that a criminal can run for president. That's totally out of order in Holland.
You can have a president who has a conviction, who has been convicted, but the president who is not born in the USA, that's a no-no. Somebody like Clinton, he has to be impeached because he lied. And then you got Trump, who only tells lies. I don't understand it.
But it's also we can't imagine that somebody who's 83, 84, what is he, runs for president. It has often happened that the guy or the woman who gets the most votes doesn't become president. And that's, in our eyes, that's ridiculous.
I don't feel like you realize how much you've been mistreated in the US until you come to a place like Canada. I mean, like, everybody is, like, you guys they're too polite. They're too polite. Like, I'm just walking, and if somebody's even in my way a little bit, they say, oh, sorry, and they get out of the way. And I say, no problem. And they say, sorry again. And now it's like, you're so nice to me that I am questioning if I just did something to make you feel bad because of how much you're apologizing to me for just existing and being the slightest of inconvenience to me at all. It's like they like introspect with you. You like bump into them like, oh, I'm sorry, are you okay? It's like, yeah, I'm fine. And they go, are you sure? And then I'm like, am I okay?
I have a question for Europeans right now. And I know that Europe is not a monolith. It's a bunch of different countries and everyone has different opinions. But I'm just curious, as someone who makes travel content in Europe a lot, because I travel in Europe frequently, I'm curious to know what you guys think about the United States right now. So let's do like a scenario. If I were to come to your country today and we met in a grocery store or a restaurant or on a trail hiking in your beautiful parks, or We met at a historic site or whatever it is. And we met and you asked me where I was from. And I said I was from the United States. What would be your immediate thought about me? About me or about where I come from or just like in general, what would be your first thought when you found out that I was an American? And be honest, like I know how I feel about what's going on in my country right now. I'm not thrilled with what's going on. I'm feeling concerned, but I want to know what the perception is outside of the US. And people that follow me, people that know me, and just like what the initial thought is on if you met an American right now, what are the assumptions you're going to make about them? Obviously, we don't all think the same, but what are the vibes? Please be honest.
So, if anyone is curious what Europeans really think about Americans and American culture, let me introduce you to the Gardens of the World in Berlin. This is the America Garden. It is a fake parking lot. Literally, this is the garden. It looks like a parking lot. This is the curated, designed garden with half-dead palm trees and a closed-off patch of grass. Yeah. This is the Italian garden, and this is South Africa. This is the Korean garden. Whole beautiful Riyadh. This is the Moroccan garden. It's very well done, actually. It's really nice.
I have some friends visiting Australia right now, and they said Australians tend to think of America as a joke because of its current leadership. Well, I wanted to confirm this. I have several Australian friends, so I decided to ask one of them what Australians think about America. His name is Monty Dwyer. He's a writer. In fact, he was in this country with his wife earlier this year working on a book about American politics. When it comes out, I'll let you know so that you can pick up a copy. At any rate, he emailed me his answer, and this is part of it. I just wanted to read it to you. This is what Australians think about America. Your friends are telling you we think America is a joke, and on a superficial level, I guess that's true. But anyone who digs a little deeper will find that mirth turning to sadness. To witness a country we've all looked up to for so long, so obviously being led down the path to authoritarianism by a self-serving criminal and his merry band of sycophants and deviants is heartbreaking. Your system is rotten to the core, mate, and it's hard to see even a slow fix, let alone a quick one. This Epstein business is a perfect example of the extent of the rot. It's riddled right through every layer of power, and only complete disclosure will repair even some of the public's distrust and disdain, and I have my doubts that that will ever happen. That is what Australians think of America, according to Monty. You know what? I think he's right.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you have watched this entire video to the end and you have heard whatever the Europeans and Canadians have got to say about the Americans. Whereby, just to remind you, our video explores the growing culture shock and critical perspectives that some Americans experience when traveling to Europe and Canada. It highlights a shift in perception as visitors compare their home country system with those abroad. And let's talk about the video now, whereby we have the cultural perception, and onto it many individuals from Europe and Canada express negative views or confusion regarding American politics, social norm such as perceived loudness and the lack of awareness about global issues. There is the systematic differences, whereby onto the video it contrasts the US system with Europeans and Canadian models, particularly regarding healthcare, whereby critics highlights the high cost of complexity in the US system versus government-funded models elsewhere. We have got the cost of living, and by comparison are drawn regarding grocery prices, housing, public transportation and taxes, with many arguing that the quality of life is perceived as higher in Europe due to stronger social safety nets. There is the political climate, whereby discussion touch upon hero worship in American politics and global concern regarding the US political trajectory, with some international observers describing it as rot and authoritarian. There is the safety and violence, whereby a common theme is the feeling of insecurity upon entering the US, with many pointing to gun laws and violences as primary concern that differentiate the US other wealthy nations. And whereby, let's look at why do Europeans study US propaganda? Just in case if you want to know. And according to the video, German high school students study current US propaganda in their English courses to learn how US citizens have been influenced to lack self-critical awareness regarding the failure of certain American ideals. The video notes that this is treated similarly to how students in the United States study German propaganda from World War II. And again, simply because we are trying to talk about the video, why does Canada feel like the minor leagues? And according to the video, Canada is feeling like the minor league compared to the United States because of the difference in intensity and scale, whereby we've got the perception of safety, and whereby just noting that crossing the border into the United States often triggers a feeling of losing safety, as if a filter of violence is suddenly applied, whereas Canada feels chill and more secure. There is the intensity and realism, and whereby I want to suggest that the United States feel like the major league, where unlike the more relaxed environment of Canada, things feels significantly more intense, potentially violent, and too real. And if you might want to know why it is unsafe in America, just got a little of you onto this, and whereby the feeling is, or rather my feeling being unsafe in the United States is a recurring theme for several contributions onto the video, and this perception are attributed to several factors, whereby one of them is the filter of violence, and whereby I just want to describe that upon crossing the border into the US, they experience a shift in atmosphere, as if a filter of violence is suddenly applied, making them feel like they are no longer watching events from the sidelines but are directly in the midst of them. There is the gun culture and safety, whereby a significant contributor to the unease is the country's unique relationship with firearms and the prevalences of gun violence. Many unique relationship, many visitors from Europe and Canada note that they are accustomed to stricter gun laws, and the visible concern regarding gun violence in the US creates a stark contrast to their daily lives at home. There is the intensity of life, whereby another perspective suggests that while in Canada feels like the minor leagues or a calmer, more relaxed environment, the United States feel like the major league, a place where life is too real and feels significantly more intense and potentially volatile. Yeah, so those are just some of the few things that I've got concerning America towards Canada and the Europeans, whereby US is like a free nation, whereby people own guns, people walk with guns, and that's why in many occasions you'll hear about shootouts in the US, in the American countries. And yeah, that's mainly because they are being permitted to carry firearms nakedly, and people usually feel strong when they have got firearms with them and they think that they can rule over. And so again, I think it's the ego that the Americans usually have got, and that's why other people from different countries usually have got different opinions about them. So I think they need to change, and they need to learn other countries' cultures and something of the sort. So yeah, they can be safe when they travel to other different countries too. So guys, let me know whatever you think about this amazing video. Let's come around, share our thoughts throughout the comment section so we can get to interact and know what you think. And mainly because your opinion does matters to us every day. Thank you very much guys for following up the video with me. I was your host, The Real American Reactions. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe, like and share to my YouTube channel. And to my returning subscribers, I do want to say thank you very much for the love and support you are always showing to me. Always remember to link me up through my next videos. All I do want to say is peace out there.